2 p.m. local time when we're getting ready for the start of the second half of the test day here at Le Mans. Just a couple of updates then over the lunch break and from what happened this morning. We had firstly 2 safety cars, both caused by the looks of things by Porsche drivers. Raymond Narak going backwards into the wall, under-braking into the first corner. And it sounds like the Jörg Bergmeister and the Porsche Works team also had a rather large accident, so they're working on that car to try and get it back out before the end of the day. They were the 2 safety car periods. But for those that were doing a little bit better, we also saw, by the way, a couple of cars off down at Indianapolis, most notably the number 8 machine of Antti Davidson. He came off the circuit and went to the gravel, was able to drive the car back, but the team lost about half an hour getting him, getting the car cleaned up and getting the gravel out of the car. So Antti Davidson then handed the car over to Buemi just for the end of the morning session. Buemi was able to improve the time just a little bit, but not too much. There was a flurry of times though, right at the end of the session between the LMP1 cars. Both Audi, Toyota and Porsche had cars out doing fast laps. Brendan Hartley was in the Porsche and he was about a second faster in the middle sector than anybody else, but in the first and last sectors was giving away a little bit of time, and therefore he ended up 3rd fastest in the morning session. Second was the Toyota of Buemi and Davidson, the 8 machine, but the fastest and the time set very, very late on the session, in fact I think it was probably one of the last laps to be done, was the number 3 machine here of the Audi of Marco Bonomi. He's sharing the car with Jarvis, who's not here this weekend because he's racing in Japan, but Philippe Albuquerque is the other driver in that car. So the number 3 machine getting readied for the second half of the practice session. A fastest with a 3:23.799. That was a whole 2 seconds faster than the remaining LMP1 cars that have been out on the circuit. The car that's done the least laps was the Nissan Z-Odd that we saw about earlier. That only managed to complete 10 laps, whereas these guys were doing about 40 laps. So without problems, everything seems to be going well. I've spoken to Marco Bonomi and he says he can go faster, but so far the plan is working well here at Audi. He's actually now just getting ready and getting back into the seat for this afternoon's session. In the other classes, we have LMP2. And very early in this session, in fact, really early in the morning, Ollie Webb in the Signatec Alpine Nissan set the fastest time, just ahead of the Jota. The Zytec Nissan still going strong year on year. Jota obviously very, very fast at the moment in the ELMS series, and second fastest here at Le Mans so far. The Zytec chassis always very, very good with the Nissan engine. And when we come to the GT category, I was going to see if we can find them, but they're a bit further down that way. Of course, doing a really, really good job. The 51 machine of Bruni, Vilander and Fisichella, fastest in the morning, ahead of other Ferraris further behind them. And even in GT-AM, the Ferraris look very, very strong. The 60 machine of Gian Maria was the fastest, and he was really in the mix with the pro cars. So I think 4 or 5 pro cars between him and the remaining 4 Ferraris behind him before we get to the Astons and the Porsches and the Corvettes. So Ferrari looking particularly strong here in the morning session. However, that is not all, that's not everything. This is still testing, and not everyone is going for times. They're looking for tests, they're looking for speed, they're looking to work with Michelin and Dunlop with the tyres to work out what tyres are best around this circuit. Lots of changes, lots of new tarmac, catching a few people out at the moment, but that's an update as we head into the second half of testing here at Le Mans. Enjoy this afternoon, and we'll be back at 3, 4, 5 and 6 to keep you updated about what's going here at the Circuit de la Sarthe.